Praful, it's a pleasure to have you. I ask, other leaders of the PANIIT is, it's already a globally recognized brand. There's a lot of value that IITians have provided to not just the US economy, but to many economies around the world. The challenge becomes even more bigger is, how do I achieve the next step, the next target? So when you took over, what did you foresee and you thought, these are the things that I need to do because it's responsibility along with the other peers of mine to lead this forward?
Well, a lot of the IITians who have come to the United States or even in India or other countries, there is a certain combination of academic excellence, brilliance, and entrepreneurship and leadership. So that makes us, let's say, roughly majority of us are type A personalities. So when you look at PANIIT, PANIIT obviously is a brand, but it is not a corporation. It is not a for-profit group. The biggest challenge we have is to take our people who are in leadership roles and create a consensus-based decision-making body. And it's hard to do because we are used to being CEOs or entrepreneurs and saying, okay, this is my vision, this is where we're going, let's go execute. Doesn't quite work that way. So you got to bring people along. So that's probably the biggest challenge for us, because if I believe we do have a clear vision of where we want to go and how you want to create this brand that is going to take us to a higher place on a continuing basis, and we certainly want to do that. But to bring everybody along and handle all these personalities is a challenge.
I think it is an amazing job that you and your peers have put together for the last 10 years that has been in place. When you look at the new alumni coming out of schools from India now that campuses have grown, where do you see that there are a couple of challenges that you think you need to address?
Well, there is a fear among some elitists, among IITians, is that, oh, we were 5 IITs and then we became 7 and now we're going to be 16. And somehow our brand is going to get diluted. I don't believe in that. I think there is a lot of talent in the graduates that are coming out. And to me, that means we have more roots, more outreach, more people who are in the same realm of brilliance, same realm of leadership. So all those qualities that IITians have, because we have a very large population in India, there are a lot of bright people. And these people study hard and they do their thing. So I find it that it is going to be even better for us to propagate the brand and be successful.
Now, taking a step back to your personal journey, you are the odd one out who comes from the architecture background. How did that happen?
Well, there was such a thing called architecture at IIT Kharagpur, right? That was, I have a story to tell on that one. My dad, when I appeared for the JEE, you had an opportunity to put your choices. So my number one choice, and obviously being an obedient son, I had to listen to my father. He said, chemical engineering is hot. I said, yes, Dad, very hot. Number one choice, chemical engineering. Number two choice, architecture. That's what I wanted to do. And I didn't finish at the top. I come from, I'm the quintessential story of a little kid who grew up in the dusty plains of India, not knowing English, come from very modest background. So my thinking always was about how am I going to do something with architecture, with housing, with buildings. I could draw. So though I listened to him, I was not the top of the student, because when I did appear for JEE, I hardly knew English. So I finished in the somewhere 1,000-something rank. So by the time my turn came, chemical engineering was gone. Architecture, that's what I got. That was my first choice anyways. So that's the story about, architecture.
As a profession now, things have changed so much in architecture because of, infusion of technology and the changes we perceive buildings and the way we want to live in buildings. Eco-friendly is only one element of it. So when you look at the new buildings that are being designed, I just wanted to learn from you what thinking is going into designing the new buildings now.
Well, our challenge is energy, right? And here we are in the energy capital of the world, and of course there are different theories about how energy consumption is creating all kinds of other issues to our ecosystem. So we as architects and builders, we have to think in that vein of how we solve problems in our space. And the way the basic equation goes is that about 40% of all the energy is consumed by buildings. Air conditioning, heating, running water, everything that relates to the building. Now, there are ways, and in fact, the American Institute of Architects has a mandate by year 2030, and I want to take it even further, is that all buildings need to be what we call net zero. That means we need to have enough systems in the buildings where you no longer require additional electricity outside of what the building can create on its own, like solar energy, wind energy, different ways of energies, and energy conservation. And if we can do that, we can reduce the energy requirements by 40%. Can you imagine what difference that would make in the world?
The other element is, the way it is, so conserving energy is part of it. But the way it is aesthetically being designed, the appeal, the usage, it is very different compared to what it was 20 years ago. But it is different now. It is much lighter. From the outside, it looks the same behemoth, but from the inside, it looks much more soft, has feelings to it. So the whole interior and the exterior has changed. So architecture has got some elements to do with it. I'm trying to see how the architects are thinking now in terms of the buildings of the future.
I think certainly energy is one area, but ultimately architects must design buildings that work for people and the functions that are within those buildings. So as architects, we must design buildings that are not only energy efficient, but they are very sensitive to the human environment. Like sitting in this room, what is the scale of it? Like for example, I'll talk about hotel lobbies. It was very fashionable to have hotel lobbies with huge ceilings. But now the thinking is that the hotel experience needs to be a much more intimate experience, where you sit with the receptionist or the agent that is checking you in a very intimate space, so that it immediately creates a level of comfort that you're going to be taken care of, people are going to relate to you, and you're going to relax.
I guess being the only architect that I've seen in the whole of the conference today amongst all the technocrats, it's truly a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
My pleasure.